All right, guys, we're standing here with Shane from Prusa Research. You know, Shane from Prusa. Mm-hmm. So we're standing here and we're looking at the MMU, as you'll see in the footage here that we shoot. But we have some questions. Okay, so my first question I asked with the bad audio was, what? Right now you have to open the case to plug in and unplug the MMU. Mm-hmm. Okay, so is it possible through DIY or something else to create one that kind of stays present in the box, but gives you that connection outside the box?
Yes, it would be possible. Basically, you would just need to split the power connector and then put like a junction in the middle, and then with the communication line, it would be something very similar. So it would be possible to do that, but again, it would be a modification that would be done by yourself.
Okay. All right. So cool. Right now, you're running a 5-color print.
Correct.
Okay. And I just did miss the spool changer, the selector moving. But I see 3 buttons on top. Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you describe what the buttons will be for?
Yeah, sure. One of them is going to be for a selector, so you can move this part around if need be. So, if you're loading it up and you need the selector moved over, just so you can properly move it over, you use that. Another one would be for obviously the power. Another one would be for like a mode, select which mode.
Okay.
So,
so you say select mode.
Yep.
Okay. So right now it looks like there's hold on. Let me get a shot of this. There's a LED on the thing that's telling you what sensor, what position it's in.
Correct.
Okay. So when you're saying mode, what are you actually saying?
Well, there's going to be an option, so you can do single mode. It's very similar to MK1. And then also there's going to be an option, so if you're using it, say if you have like several rolls that have like very few amounts of filament left, and you can just sit there and load it all up, so then when one roll is emptied, it would automatically go into the next roll. So you can just use up your filament that way, instead of swapping it up.
Okay, cool. Now here, this thing just swapped to the blue, and it looks like it's ejecting. So I'm going to get some shots of this ejecting, and then it's going to move. So we saw the selector move from that position to the next position. I got a red light.
Nope, that's fine. It's still working.
Okay. So
the red light will just sit there and say
okay,
it's loading
so
up.
now it's loading up. Now we're in the 3rd spot. So it was loading filament during that. And in the rear, and I didn't catch it, I don't guess, on video. Maybe I did. It was actually rolling filament back into the unit.
Yep.
So it ejects this filament, and you can, I'm going to tilt this so you can see. You can see it ejects that filament completely out of the PTFE tube that you can see here.
Correct. Yep. If you look right back here, it retracts it all the way back in. Okay. So it's a nice clear move. But say if there was a little bit of a blob left over and it wouldn't go in there, on the bottom here there's going to be a blade, so it'll just move over and just cut that little blob off.
So that's how you do the cutting off of that.
Yep. If it detects that there is like some type of blockage,
right,
then that's what happens.
Okay, cool. So all right, so let me see if I can get a shot here. I don't know if I can or not. We'll try to tilt it down. As you can see, what we're talking about here, and this is hard to do, but right inside of there, where that is smooth there will be a blade underneath the selector that would come over and cut the filament off. Because that's been people have wondered about that.
Yep.
How you're gonna, was it gonna be a pair of scissors in there that went snip or whatever?
Lasers.
But as it slides and it moves over, it would just cut it off. Mm-hmm. So you're not so much worried about like the 45 or anything. It would be more of a smooth, straight cut.
Yep.
So that is absolutely cool, man.
Yep.
And I will tell you, it is printing very well from what I can see right now.
Yep. And then also yesterday, Joseph made an announcement yesterday. One thing that we're working on is with the white tower is the ability to try to cut it down.
Okay.
So what they're going to end up doing is, as you can see right here with the infill, it's going to use part of the infill as for the white tower. So what would happen is, say for example here, this would be used as part of the white. All right, and then it would use as much as it could, then move over here and then clear itself off.
Okay.
So the white tower will be reduced for the amount of material.
Now the white tower still has to stay at the same height, though.
Yes, it does.
So you would make an infill white tower instead of a solid white tower.
Correct. With certain types of prints, while you're working on it, say for example, if this was higher and it was just 2 colors, it would do a tower where it would be like just kind of like an infill, just so it keeps up to the height. And then when say if it went to 3 colors, it would just put a layer over that and just continue.
A solid layer and then continue. Okay, cool. And I mean, these are just standard, spool holders in the back.
These are actually the spool holders for the MK, the multi-material version 1.
Okay.
And so you'd still have that option, because I know a lot of the guys like to create their own.
Right.
And so that would still be an option as well.
Okay, cool. And the unit's really compact.
Yep.
I mean, if you consider the Mosaic pallet or whatever, this is a really compact unit.
Yep.
It looks like 3 stepper motors on here.
Yep.
Now,
sorry. We sat there, and when we designed it and everything else, we realized we didn't need all those motors and everything else.
Right.
So we cut it down to the least amount possible.
Okay. Now, you got this unit still in a box. Day before yesterday. Okay. So, not last night, but night before last.
Yep.
You stayed in. You didn't go out partying with everybody.
I made up for it last night.
Well, but you stayed in and you got this ready to run.
Yep.
What was your opinion? And I know you work for the company,
so I'll give you my honest
okay.
Because remember, I started off here as a customer, so when I do anything for them, help them with testing, that's the one thing I get in that mindset. Especially being first time user and everything else. Now, obviously, I didn't have to build it up. It came just like this. When the kits ship out, it's not going to be like that. You're going to have to put it together yourself. But for the most part, connecting it to the board wasn't difficult at all, because you just have to sit there and unscrew the power terminal and then put in like the power for the unit. You slide that in there, put it back in there, and then you'd have the cable connection, put it back in there. So assembly of it and everything else really wasn't that difficult, but again, it shipped as a full unit. So, but getting it up and running and everything else really wasn't that difficult.
Well, let me ask you this, and that was my next question. Is it running the same firmware on the Mark III?
No, it's running a modified version of it, because it needs some. Basically, the firmware is updated, so it knows what to do with the multi-material and make the changes on it. But it's the firmware that we've created in-house, and just once it will ship out, it will be online, so that people can download it as well.
Okay, well that was my question. So when they get this and they put it together and they install it, they have to update the firmware.
Yes.
And then they have to have a model that utilizes this functionality. Now, is it the same as other multi-materials? So would a same multi-material model that I cut, say for the Mosaic pallet, or the MMU1 for that matter, would those work as well with the MMU2?
Yes, it would basically be the same way. For those of you who experience with the multi-material version 1, slicing the model is basically the same way. You just have one extra option.
Okay.
On there.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, from me just standing here watching it, I mean, the thing is moved really smooth. The color changes. I mean, there's no bleeding. There's no anything, as we can see on here. I mean, it really looks like a great unit.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort that went into it, and right now it's in the stages of fine-tuning things to make sure everything's working fine on it. The estimated time right now for shipping would be the end of July, and then once those go up, we have orders going all the way back from October 2017.
Right.
So those orders will be filled out first and shipped out.
Right.
And then we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Okay. Well, Chris Riley and I both have one. We ordered them the same day. So we're going to install them live online. Wait, I got to catch this. I got to catch this stuff here. Wait, it's already moved, didn't it?
Nope, it's working right now.
It didn't move yet. There it goes.
There it goes.
Now we got to
Right
see
in
it.
there,
Oh,
there's like
all
a
the way to
tumbler.
the end.
Yep. There's a tumbler that moves back and forth, and on that tumbler there are bearings. And so what will happen is it will grip it, and you have the hob gears there, right there. So we'll just load it all the way in. And just
Okay, I saw that. I saw that move. I got that movement in here, I think. That's actually really cool. Now, it looks like a lot of this is 3D printed.
Yes, it is. We try to keep this along the lines with the whole rep project, as far as having a printer that will print out its own parts. So we designed this in that same way.
That's awesome, Shane. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking your time.
Anytime for you,
and
sir.
Stop in the chat anytime, buddy.
I definitely will, man.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right.